Coming from Western society, we have been groomed and conditioned to do that for other people, but we forget to remember to do that for ourselves. And I know for me, going back and doing the inner work and reflecting and really putting the pieces together, there is a level of disparity that takes place when you are in the energy of wanting to invest your conscious precious time into someone else's karmic makeup, in this case in your friendships and the karma of your friendship. You can't be the only one to impact that, but when you start to feel like you're the only one to impact that, your energy starts reading very desperate, a masculine perspective, while still being able to tap into that emotional frequency. We are not brochures. We are not pamphlets that can be skimmed through in a matter of seconds. Our eyes and our experiences deserve more unpacking. It is okay to not have the studious verbiage of pain, of experiencing loss and a grief within a friendship. It is okay if you don't have the words. Some of this shit was externally, some of this shit was picked up on energetic cues of, said friend or said person who is a Black woman who I was in relation to, or even family members who are, Black women who that I was in relation to. They would give off these energetic signals like, you might not be saying that you enjoy me cleaning up your shit, but you're damn sure sending out that energy signals and making me feel like what I'm doing is right. And like I said, coming from a performative and people pleasing background, like, we love that shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, I used to think there was something so studious and so diplomatic and so profound about, like, being able to unpack someone else's shit first, and then, if there was any pieces left of my energy, go ahead and pick that up for myself. And I did not realize how much that was disrupting my holy trinity. And here we go with that religion thing again. Okay, here we go with that religion thing again. But I touched on this in the Energetics of Sex. I might have touched on this in Not My Mother's Daughter. Holy Trinity for me, I forgot the way I described it in Energetics of Sex, but it's basically the relation to your mind, body, and spirit. But as a Black woman, that spirit part can extend to your femininity, let me see what else I wrote down. Femininity, and the power of exercising and the power of recognizing the spirit that dwells within you, and the power of exercising that conscious awareness and that belief that spirit is within you, that there is a conscious feminine higher power version of yourself within you. Does that make sense? I hope you picking up what I'm putting down. And the second part that extends to this Holy Trinity notion is the belief that this higher power, that you have the ability to tap into this higher power by exercising that belief with how you come into contact with others. So in this case, for the purposes of this video, it was the way I was coming into contact with my friends. And yeah, I did not see that. Like, and when it comes to women, all women, you know what I'm saying? But I believe when it especially comes to Black women, there's already this meter, this gauge that we silently apply to ourselves, and men do it too. Like, when we see a brother, when we see a sister, the buttons and the gears start turning, like, okay, this person does this person kind of feels like this. It's just like you're reading energy. You're just getting a natural attunement for the energy that someone is giving off. And the reason why I'm emphasizing Black women here, because I feel like and unfortunately, coming from Western society, we have been groomed and conditioned to do that for other people, but we forget to remember to do that for ourselves. And I know for me, going back and doing the inner work and reflecting and really putting the pieces together, there is a level of disparity that um there is a level of disparity that takes place when you are in the energy of wanting to invest your conscious precious time into someone else's karmic makeup, in this case in your friendships, and the karma of your friendship. You can't be the only one to impact that, but when you start to feel like you're the only one to impact that, your energy starts reading very desperate. Like you start looking very desperate, you start reading very desperate, and you might not see that as desperate. Like I said before, I did not see myself as desperate. I thought a bitch was being very studious. But it comes off as like you don't know how to let things be. It comes off like you don't know how to let the unfolding of life, of friendship, of grief, of pain, of loss do its unpacking and do its work first before you begin to pitch your nose in business it don't belong in. It's like you start to believe that you can do God's interference. Yeah, 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 yeah. I like that. You start to believe that you can do God's interference. And I think that's why a lot of us who is feeling what I'm feeling, a lot of us when we walked away from those friendships and those experiences, there was a lot of depletion from our feminine energy, from the radiance of just existing as a black woman, because it's like you tried to maneuver the energy of God. You tried to act like God. And not only that, you had this warped ass perception of salvation that a friendship cannot provide you. A friendship can be a place of solace, a place of nesting, a place of rest in terms of seeing each other eye to eye, but it's not salvation. And when you try to be that attunement for and that spokesperson for two people, then you get your ass handed to you on a silver platter. You know what I'm saying? And let me just continue. Yeah, like I just said, that's basically what I was just saying. Processing pain should not need a cosigner. And that's something that I also had a hard time struggling with. Like I thought everything had to be talked out with my pain. I thought I had to get that cosign. This again, I know this goes into many other different layers and flavors of friendship. This is hitting on motherhood and abandonment and traumas. I get that, but there's only so much we can cover, and I'm already going over time. So, before anyone be jumping into my comments saying anything, well, actually, the comments is turned off, but you get what I'm saying. Attack. um. Anyway, to continue, and and again, just going off the notes that I have, and something that I want to say to my recovering people pleasers and to my sisters who are finding their way home within themselves by stepping away from friendships that you had to get comfortable with processing pain and the fragments and the mysteries of yourself without a fucking filter. It's going to take time. Everything that I am teaching you today, the stories that I tell you guys, the information that I the information and the imagery that I use to bring into my world for these lessons, it took years to get to this point. I've been through a lot of crazy shit. I've lost, again, like I told you guys before, I've lost friendships in the most unfortunate, really traumatic ways. It's going to take time. Now, how much time depends on how much you're willing to invest into your energetic cleanup and your inner work and therapy if it's needed, which is another conversation because I feel like a lot of us need community more than therapy, but whatever. Um, it's going to take time. It is going to take time. Trust me, I am here. I see you, sis. I see you. Know that it is not something overnight, especially a lot of the time. I know for me, I felt very ostracized, and that I was the only, because I was the only one who was in this frequency of awareness and who was willing to be vulnerable and just turn in my white flag and just just wave that white flag, which I don't even like the expression of that. yellow flag. There was no one I could really go to and be like, oh my God, like, da 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 da. And then, therapy, true, but like therapy is an extension of the inner work you're also doing. So if you're running from yourself and not truly facing yourself, a therapist is only going to go but so far. Which, there wasn't anybody at the time who I can talk these things out to. And I also feel like sometimes I feel like that's why God and our ancestors intervened to where we're not supposed to have anybody really talk to us at that time. Because for people who reside a lot in the mental, for women, not people, for women, Black women who reside a lot in the mental, a lot with recovering from the information that I have shared today, there's already a lot of stimulation, going on in the mind. And I feel like a lot of the time, a lot of women who resonate with what I'm saying, we look for external cues to rev up our stimulation, because that's the only way we can unpack things, because we don't know how to sit with the silence and sit with the loud noise of the years of unpacked and unresolved shit, and going through our friendships that did not work and that was not successful was just the cherry on top. You understand what I'm trying to put down? Like, there's a lot of shit to unpack from that. Whew. And another thing I want to add before I close out this video for my sisters who are resonating and picking up with what I'm putting down, and also to pay homage to my past self who spent years going through this, is that we are not brochures. For women who have the unique ability to look at things in a very masculine perspective while still being able to tap into that emotional frequency, we are not brochures. We are not pamphlets that can be skimmed through in a matter of seconds. Our eyes and our experiences deserve more unpacking. It is okay to not have the studious verbiage of pain, of experiencing loss and a grief within a friendship. It is okay if you don't have the words for that. You don't need to use any sort of mentalism to arrive at this fake ass sort of consciousness. It is okay to sit in silence and to submit to the will of God, to submit to the will of our ancestors, whatever that fucking looks like for you. Because oftentimes God is speaking to us the loudest, our ancestors are speaking to us the loudest, when we can just shut the fuck up and just be still. And that's not easy when you are someone who people pleases, when you are someone who is such a performer, where in that brochure you have to follow that schedule, you have to follow that syllabus. And if you step outside of any of those black and white lines, like, up, you're the black sheep, up, you're in trouble, up, like you're losing a friend, up, your mom doesn't want to talk to you, up, fill in the blank. Like, we're not brochures. We are vast novels and students of the wonders of life, of the wonders of pain and transmuting pain, of the wonders of coming out on the other side, of experiencing the grief, the insurmountable loss of losing a friend, losing a sister, be it by separation in the physical or just deciding to just part ways. That's not easy. That deserves several moments of silence. That deserves precious moments of your time where it is not spent thinking of ways to make the pain sound more prolific on paper. So I want to close this video off and tell you guys, and tell myself, remind myself and tell you guys that life will not be challenge free. I do believe life can be pain free, but I don't believe life can be challenge free, because that's what makes the uniqueness of life. Unless you just did some good ass dharma in your previous lifetime and you just came and your generations set you up just straight like that, but I don't believe that. Otherwise, you would not be watching to the end of this video. Life is not going to be challenge free. You will come across women who will put you in a place of contemplation, who will put you in a place of really testing, do you know your reflection as good as you think you do? And many other things: grief, loss, childbirth, friendship, exploring the taste of the forbidden fruit of realizing that friends turn into enemies and things like that. All of that. Life will humble you very quickly. But the beauty about being humbled is that you can take these nuggets and these tokens of wisdom and instill it into not only your life, but your community, your sisters, your daughters. So we all can come together in awareness and hold space for this extension of knowledge, of truth, of acceleration that we are experiencing, and not just in this 5D, but we are experiencing in the higher timelines that we are in right now. Now is not the time. We don't have the luck. It's unfortunate because life is very different than what it was for our moms and of 2012 and shit like that. Like, the timelines that we are in, life is coming with a lot of shit that needs to be decoded. Some shit is right in front of our face, but now more than ever, God, our ancestors, are asking us to do the work so we can come together in a unit of harmony, in a unit where we all can be perceived in a way that is resonating with the inner work that we are doing. Now is not the time to get lost in emotions. Rather, feel our emotions and come to a mutual understanding of how we need to utilize that information, that powerful, potent information, with building anew. So thank you for rocking with me today's video. I know today I went over a little bit of length, but I had a lot to say. Ancestors had a lot to say. Okay. If you are interested in keeping up with me, you can tune into the information that is in the description box, as well as the community forums that I'm always engaging with you guys on. Or feel free to shoot me an email if you want to inquire about any other services, thoughts, insights. Yeah. Thank you so much, y'all. I appreciate you. Love you. See you soon. Peace.